All right. Well, it is officially Wednesday. And if it is Wednesday, that means it is Small Wins with Wednesday, or Small Wins with Quinn Wednesdays, as I would like to say. And I'm super excited to have this conversation because I know that there are a lot of speakers and entrepreneurs and individuals building personal and professional brands. And I believe that if you want to really grow your business, then speaking, it should be something that is a top priority, whether it's an income stream, whether it's a marketing strategy or lead generation. You want to be super intentional about making sure that your voice is visible in your marketing and your outreach. So, for those of you who might be brand spanking new to me, my name is Quinn Conyers, and I transform average events into epic experiences as a professional conference MC and TEDx speaker. And the inspiration for me doing, small wins with Quinn on Wednesdays is to really celebrate, acknowledge, and honor the small things that we're doing each and every day as business owners and entrepreneurs that's impacting our brand in a big way. I recently did a TEDx talk. Go me, go me. That's my go me dance, right? And I was super excited about all of the individuals who were just really touched and moved. I think we're living in a very interesting part of history where we have been really told to go big, do more, and the pressure to go big has become a burden. So I think that my message of having the audacity to go small has been very refreshing when it comes to how you can make major moves by actually not going bigger, by actually noticing and maximizing the small things that others are overlooking or dismissing that you can lean into as your superpower. So, first and foremost, if you have not watched The Audacity to Go Small on YouTube, this is your personal invitation to go and do so. Literally, if you go to youtube.com, type in The Audacity to Go Small, you can watch it. And that talk was the inspiration for this live. And as I am just being more intentional about how I can pass along some of the tips and tools and techniques that I've learned that has grown my speaking business, my brand, and my business, I didn't want to gatekeep. And small is part of that strategy, but I wanted you to know that as well. So, just out of curiosity, let's go ahead and get this party started. You are here because you're probably interested and how you can maximize your reel. Again, I mentioned that we're going to talk about the small things that your speaking reel is saying about you. So, this could be for individuals who already have a speaker's reel. If you're in the process of updating your speaker reel, because sometimes, you've done a lot more and what you did a couple of years ago might not be relevant. This conversation is absolutely positively for you. And I'm excited about this conversation for a couple of different things because I think that when I talk to individuals and their ultimate goal is to grow the speaking part of their business, whether they want to get paid to speak, they want to use speaking as lead generation or a marketing strategy, that some of us have reels, some of us do not have reels, but either way, I think that if you don't have a reel or if you're underutilizing your reel, this is a conversation for you because there are many ways that you can create a speaker's reel, right? That is absolutely something that you can. I mean, there's just multiple ways to do it. But I think the interesting part about it is let's dive into some of the small things that event planners are looking for, agents, bureaus, because your speaker's reel is really what they use to kind of analyze and what they use to determine like if you're going to get shortlisted. And if you have no reel or a bad reel, then you're literally leaving money on the table. So I want to make sure that you don't do that because I know that I just updated my speaker reel, which I'm super excited about. This is just a season of updates. And I think sometimes we try to start something brand new, but sometimes it's about retweaking and reworking things that have already worked for us in the past. So, my goal and my responsibility with the time that I have with you today is to make sure that the reel that you have or the reel that you're thinking about creating, that you are super intentional about how you can maximize the small things that get you noticed and things like that. So let's go ahead and, really kind of jump into this because I feel like, you know, you're here and you want to know why. So, first and foremost, there's a couple different things, right? When we're talking about your reel, and how you should really use certain things in your reel to be intentional. So, one things is your first 10 seconds, right? So if you're creating a reel, you want to start your reel off powerful, right? Because a lot of times people are watching, but it's not about capturing attention, it's about keeping attention. So I feel like the first 10 seconds are the most crucial. So you want to make sure that you're professional, you're positioned, you're polished, but more importantly, you say something or do something that instantly grabs the attention of the person who's watching. So I just mentioned to you that I'm having I just redid my MC reel. And one of the things that I did there is I asked a question. I said something like, if you think that if you want an MC who simply introduce speakers and sponsors, I might not be the right MC. So it's a curiosity question. So in that first 10 seconds, can you ask a question that will make planners or conference producers stop and kind of want to watch the rest of the reel, right? So I think that starting a reel with a question is great. You can start a reel with a video of some B-roll of you walking onto a stage, but you want to make sure those first 10 seconds are crucial. Now, here's what I would not do in the first 10 seconds of the reel. Have somebody else talking about you, right? Like I know that there is a place and there's a position for people who want to do your testimonials and oh my gosh, Jen was a great speaker, Nicole was amazing, Quinn was great. The first voice that someone should hear on your reel shouldn't be somebody else's. It should be yours, okay? So you want to make sure you're tapping into that. So, first 10 seconds should be your voice. All right? Hopefully that you got that. And that's what I learned. Shout out to Speaker Brand, who was the person that created my reel. Now, the second thing that you should be thinking about when you're creating a reel, mind you, your goal of the reel is to show your personality. It is to show your stage presence. It is to show how you are interacting with the crowd, whether you're an MC or you're a speaker. But you want to make sure that the footage that you select matters more than just the editing. So, clips of you sharing a story, clips of you doing audience activation, clips of you doing some type of activity, right? You want to make sure that editing is great, but what are you doing? Are you giving a piece of your proprietary framework? Are you sharing a nugget? Is the footage of the audience interacting or reacting to a comment? Do you or are you a type of speaker that pulls people onto the stage, right? So some people they just speak, they do their thing, they give their intellectual property and everybody's in the audience. So you want to select the footage where there is activation. Now more than ever, bureaus, conference producers, agents, they don't want someone who's just going to talk and give information. They want an experience. Is there a part of a clip that you have where you're pulling people onto the stage? Are you doing something with the audience? Are you having a prop? Props are my favorite thing. Literally, I just got done doing my TEDx talk. I had actual live sneakers on stage, right? So you want to make sure that with your reel, whether it's a speaker reel or an MC reel, that the footage selection matters. Again, are you telling a story? Are you activating an audience? Are you using a prop? Are you bringing people on stage with you, right? Because at the end of the day, that's what people really want to do. And here's the thing, too, planners and people who are looking to hire you as an MC or as a speaker are not always looking for perfection, because right now there is a trust pandemic or epidemic that we're happening. So if it's too polished, if it looks like AI, they might not believe it. So if it's the quality of the video isn't the best, now it shouldn't be trash. Let me be very clear, right? It shouldn't be a trash video. The lighting shouldn't be absolutely horrible. But if it's not shot in like the highest HG quality, it's okay. What they want to hear is, do you know your stuff? Do you have stage presence? Um, do you have a unique perspective or point of view? Is your experience and expertise on stage apparent? Because a lot of times we want these massive big stages. So if I put you on a stage of 5,000, are you nervous? Can you handle that energy? Because speaking or emceeing in front of a group of 500 or 5,000 is a very different skill set, right? So you want to make sure that when you are selecting the footage for your reel, it is showing all the elements and personalities of you. Speaking of, you also want to make sure that the music matches your personality as well. I am high energy, so the music behind my new MC reel is really kind of mirrors that as well. Okay. Also too, you want to make sure that you are showcasing the impact that you create for your clients and your audiences and your customers. So for example, this is where your testimonials will come in. So at the end of you showing the great clips, you start off strong. You know what I mean? You want to pull in some people who were in the audience, whether it's physical quotes that you can use that said, oh my gosh, I love Enday's, emceeing, or I love Enday's speaking. You want to highlight those, and preferably somebody who has a decision-making title, right? If you have it. If not, an audience is all a member is also great because you're actually serving two people. You're serving the planner who can hire you, book you, and you're also making sure that you're serving the people who are in the audience as well. So when you are creating your reel, these are just the small things that you can use to stand out and stick out so you can differentiate and dominate, because now more than ever, people are making a short list. That bureau, that agent, that person who is at a position and their job is to find speakers, they're not just picking one person, they're picking like 3 to 5, and then they're analyzing the reel, they're analyzing the results, they're looking at their recommendations. But your reel should be the top asset that you put some time and attention, because it gives them the appetizer of your personality. So again, you want to showcase like your clients, feedback, testimonials. You also want to showcase your different stages. Contrary to what everybody believes, people want to show the big stages. Oh my gosh, I did this in front of 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people. And that's great. But also, too, are you overlooking the smaller stages? Because if I have a stage of 75 or 50 or 100 people, like, does it look like you only do big stages, and vice versa? If you only have, small stages, can you handle my audience of 4,000 or 5,000? So you want to show what I call stage diversity within your reel. So give me some stages that are smaller in nature. Give me some stages that are bigger in nature, so that way people can say, oh, if I have 50 or 5,000, she can handle that. However, whatever you have, use it. Don't hold your experience hostage. Don't wait until you get the 4,000 person stage or 5,000 person stage to create your reel. Whatever you have, you use it, because at the end of the day, you are allowed to do reiterations. You're allowed to do edits. I don't know how many reels, right? But at the end of the day, I just took whatever footage I had at the moment, and then I would upgrade, update from there. Also, one of the things that you can do is pick what I call an anchor event. One of the things that I did when I was creating my new reel is I used an event where it was a multi-day, where I got footage from the actual producer, but I also hired someone to get some extra footage to get some of the shots. So that's what you also might have to do. If you feel like you don't have enough footage to create a quality, hearty, rich reel, you may have to actually hire somebody in addition to the footage that the planner gets you, right? First and foremost, if you're speaking, I don't care if you're speaking complimentary, I don't care if you're waiving your fee, I don't care if you're waiving your full fee. You should always get footage and images of you speaking. Here's the good news. They're going to give you the footage for the most part, but most of the footage is going to be from the camera that is back of the room to the front. Photos will probably be from all over. So I hired the team because I wanted some backstage shots. I wanted them to see me coming up the stage. They might not be able to get that as the in-house videographer. So if you know that you're working on new footage and you're doing a multi-day event, especially as an MC, you're changing outfits, it's 3 different days, you can maximize that footage. So it might be the same background, but it's different outfits, it's different speakers, all of that stuff. So you want to maximize. Sometimes you might have to be a little bit creative if you don't necessarily have all the footage to pull together. You might have to take an anchor event or one event and get multiple shots. Now, you also, as a speaker and as an MC, you want to get yourself in different particular formats depending on what you're selling. So if you're selling a keynote speech, in your reel, you should have keynote speech clips. If you're also doing workshops, show me you doing a workshop. And then you want to give or include testimonials video, especially in a reel, about that. As an MC, I was very, very mindful of, I wanted a couple different shots. I wanted the reel to include me introducing a speaker. I wanted the reel to include me hosting a panel. I wanted the reel to include what I call capturing what I do off the stage in my rolling reporter role. So as an MC, I knew that I did like 4 or 5 different things as an MC. So I wanted to make sure that when I was creating the reel, those were the small things that was captured, because I didn't want you to think that all I do as an MC is introduce speakers and sponsors. So in the reel, I had to include my MC different parts that I could do to show you my versatility of what I can do. And you want to make sure. So those are just a few of the small things that you can do to make sure that your reel as a speaker, as an MC, as a thought leader, as a person who's building a brand sticks out. Because now more than ever, it is not just enough to say, oh my gosh, this person's a great speaker, this person's a great MC. If someone is looking to hire you, that asset, the marketing asset of your reel, is going to be crucial if they decide that they're going to hire you or hire someone else. So, as a recap, when you're creating your reel, number one, the first 10 seconds are the most crucial, and it should be your voice. Do not start your reel off with testimonials. I don't know these people, right? We know you. It is your reel. So, you want to start the 10 seconds off either you walking up, you asking a question, you on stage, something. But the first 10 seconds should communicate that you are captivating, you are compelling, right? Also, you want to select the right footage, right? Showcasing your stage diversity, you doing a workshop, you sitting on a panel, you being on a keynote. But whatever you want someone to hire for you the most should be dominant. So if your ultimate goal is to get hired to do keynotes, I shouldn't see a bunch of clips of you speaking on a panel, right? Make sure you understand that. And then next, as you are thinking about creating or updating your reel, making sure that you are showcasing your outcomes, right? Like you are demonstrating the transformation that you are creating for your clients, for your customers, for the audiences. This is where you include testimonials. This is where you include footage of you bringing people on stage, you telling a story, you making such a pivotal point, but the whole audience is like, wow, or you can actually hear them clapping in the background. And also, you want to make sure that you're not worried about perfection, you're worried about progress. You, as a speaker, will evolve. And the reel that you create in 2026 is going to be different than the reel that you created in 2021 or 2022. When I created a reel during the pandemic, the most of my reel, literally, it was me doing virtual because virtual was dominating at that time. And I want to make sure that you understand that's okay. Give yourself permission to evolve. And also, don't hold footage hostage because you're waiting for the perfect footage. Use what you have, and then you update your reel every 1 or 2 years, right? That's what you want to think about. So here's what I want to do. I want to open it up to you, right? I want to know. Drop it in the comments, whether you're watching me live, shout out to Jen, or if you're watching this on a replay, what small tweaks are you going to be committed to in regards to updating or revising or creating your reel? I want you to drop that in the comments. If you're thinking about creating a reel, if you're updating a reel, if you don't know what to put, but based on this conversation, you have an idea on how you're going to be intentional about creating a reel. Because here's what you don't understand: you having no music, low quality, no reel at all, that is the small things that's actually hurting your chance to get booked and paid as a speaker, as an MC, as a thought leader, as a person who's building a personal or professional brand. So drop that in the comments. Let me know if you are currently working on or you're thinking about updating your reel. What is one small thing that you can do to make sure that your reel is amplified, making sure that your reel is noticeable, making sure that your experience, your expertise, and your energy is showcased within your reel? Because that's all the things that people are looking for. They're not looking for a perfect speaker. Are you an engaged speaker? They're not looking for a speaker that can speak to, thousands. Can you also speak to hundreds? These are the small things that planners and decision makers are looking when they have to source a speaker or an MC for their next event. So again, if you have a small win or a small tip that you're going to use for your reel, you can go ahead and drop it in the comments. So I am just excited about sharing these tips. I love the fact that I can take you along my journey. Ever since I did this TEDx talk, I have been inspired and motivated so much that I decided to create this series, Small Wins with Quinn, every Wednesday, where I give you small tips, small things that you can do to grow your business, your brand in a big way. I do believe that big has been the bully in our businesses for way too long. And now it's time to really maximize the small things that others are overlooking that you can really lean into and leverage. So if you are liking or loving this content, if you're liking or loving this series, feel free to shoot me a message. I am live on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. And my goal is to see how this goes. I'm just doing it as a summer series for now. If people really enjoy it and like it, I'll continue to have small conversations that can move your business forward in a big way. But for now, I wanted to share that with you. I was super excited. I've been working on my speakers or MC reel for a while now. And I wanted to share some things with you that were small, but I believe that made my reel, powerful before I kind of release it to the public. And I got some really good feedback from some people that I like that gave that to me. So Tasha says, good info. I'm horrible on social media and I'll hold all my footage hostage. Oh, Tasha, girl, you got to stop holding that footage hostage. Whatever footage that is in your freaking cell phone or is stored on a Google Drive, you better get that footage out, dust it off, and post it because that's what people need to see. Like, you are a walking, talking movement of your brand. So if I don't see you, I can't know you. Like, your reel is your one of the number one marketing assets. Like, if they're gonna want to hire you, so go ahead and dust it off, and go ahead and use what you have. And here's the thing too, if you don't have enough yet to create a reel, just share clips. If you have a clip of you speaking, you're saying something really good, share the 2-minute clip. It doesn't have to be a 4-minute clip when you on 5 different stages. Use what you have for now, and then as you grow and you collect more footage and you speak on more stages, you create your reel. Small is where you need to start. We're not sitting here trying to create a 5-minute reel with 17 different stages. If you got one stage and one clip, I should be able to see that on social media. Okay. That's where I should be able to see it. So, again, if you haven't already done so, please make sure you head on over to YouTube. And I want you to do me a huge particular favor. And I want you to watch The Audacity to Go Small. That talk has been the inspiration for me doing this series, as well as it has become a movement where I want to encourage and motivate and inspire individuals just like you to have the audacity to go small and dive into and leverage the small things that other people are overlooking that you can be intentional about maximizing and monetizing. So thank you again for joining me for this particular edition of Small Wins with Quinn. I will be back next Wednesday. If you haven't already done so, make sure you drop your small wins in the comments and we will stay connected. But more importantly, do not let big bully you in 2026. Please know that you have the audacity to go small and you can win big by going small. I'll see you next week.